Hey man, happy Friday rather than Thursday because I was too exhausted to film yesterday, so I fell asleep, and the person who was going to make a video for me couldn't because I didn't get back to them with the right information, so I'm just making this before I go to work today. So this week I want to address something that's not exactly considered a light topic by any means. It's to do with my job as a community manager, but more specifically it's about a situation that I saw recently that highlights just how bad the YouTube community can be. That's not a thing I say lightly, considering I've been a part of different YouTube communities for the last 10 years, but you can't help but see that certain parts of certain communities or just outlying people can genuinely be horrible. I'm not sure if that's down to a level of being able to be anonymous by having had a username or an online persona and not actually being yourself. You can be a much exaggerated version of yourself because there's no pushback, because it's not linked to your IRL life. And if you're that way inclined, it gives you more opportunity to be callous and sadistic towards people. Now, while these are a minority, obviously YouTube communities are known for being toxic places sometimes. You don't find that generally among people like the Vlog Brothers and Ashens, but there's always that chance. So the podcast I was a part of that went live a few weeks ago, there was an episode that filmed after mine. The lady's name was Nikki from the YouTube channel Nikki and Bunty, and some of the subjects she covered in this podcast were a little bit heavier and darker and more serious than what Bashins is used to. Growing up, she was a part of the Jehovah's Witnesses, and she's a self-described large lesbian, and these things don't marry up. She talks about her experience growing up in that community with her family and her friends and the way you worshipped and stuff that you did, and obviously the eventual breaking away from that community where she eventually realized that there is a big wide world out there and you can do what you want within reason and you're not dictated by these really claustrophobic rules. But what we didn't realize is how that would be perceived by a wider YouTube audience. Unfortunately, last Friday we found out, because the episode went live and it was a brilliant episode, but some people in the comments were really horrible towards this poor woman who is a really nice person. So they made the decision to disable likes and dislikes and comments on the video, and eventually Barry, one of the guys behind Barshins, made the decision based on everyone else's feedback to take the episode down in its entirety. While I do disagree with it to an extent, I can see why he did it. As a community manager myself, I know how these things go. I did some research into this and I realized that the people actually who were commenting in the first place on this video and being really harsh and horrible were not the normal Barshins viewers. My theory is that one or two users have found this video, they've then posted it on a website they frequent to decide where to go and troll, or the shit posting websites, and that's how it's got more traction and more horrible things said. I'm going to be working with the Barshins team to hopefully stop this happening. Again, I can bring what I know to their channel, so maybe we can stop this from snowballing. My question for you this week, Matt, is have you experienced any online happenings such as this, or have you witnessed it? Have you been involved in any way? Have you been the target of it? How have you dealt with it, or how have you seen other people deal with it? Through shared experience, hopefully between us we can come up with ways to combat such vile attitudes and toxic mentalities. I've got to go to work now, so have a great day of Keep Mattering, and I will hopefully see you next week.